Welcome to our deep dive into the mysterious and often misunderstood realms of Sheol, also known as Hell or Hades. In biblical texts, Sheol is depicted as the abode of the dead, a shadowy place where souls reside after death. This concept is rooted in ancient Jewish tradition and is referenced throughout both the Old and New Testaments. The term Sheol appears in numerous scriptures, such as in Psalm 16:10, where it states, "For you will not abandon my soul to Sheol, or let your Holy One see corruption." Here, Sheol is described as a place of waiting rather than one of punishment or reward. Similarly, in the New Testament, Hades is often used interchangeably with Sheol, further solidifying its place in biblical lore. Understanding Sheol is crucial for comprehending the broader concepts of afterlife and divine justice in biblical theology. However, to truly grasp its complexities, one must look beyond the canonical scriptures and delve into hidden and forbidden texts that offer additional insights. These texts, often excluded from mainstream religious teachings, provide a richer and more nuanced view of Sheol and its various circles. Hidden knowledge from the Apocrypha, Pseudepigrapha, and other ancient writings reveal layers of interpretation that expand our understanding of this enigmatic realm. For instance, the Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish text, provides a detailed account of Sheol's structure and the different fates awaiting souls based on their earthly deeds. By exploring these lesser-known scriptures, we uncover a tapestry of beliefs and traditions that shed light on the true nature of Sheol. This journey into the depths of Sheol is not just an exploration of a place, but an examination of ancient wisdom and spiritual truths that have been concealed over centuries. As we embark on this exploration, we will uncover the 9 circles of Sheol, each representing different forms of punishment and reflection of one's earthly life. Join us as we journey through the realms of Sheol, guided by biblical references, historical context, and the hidden knowledge that illuminates the path to understanding the afterlife according to ancient traditions. Circle 1. Limbo. The first circle of Sheol, often referred to as Limbo, is a place reserved for unbaptized souls and virtuous pagans. Unlike the more torturous regions of Sheol, Limbo is a state of natural happiness, but without the beatific vision of God. This concept serves to address the fate of those who lived righteous lives, but for various reasons were not part of the covenant community. In Luke 16:22-23, we find a compelling reference to this idea in the parable of the rich man and Lazarus. The passage describes Lazarus being carried by angels to Abraham's bosom, a term that signifies a place of comfort and rest for the righteous dead. This is contrasted with the rich man who finds himself in torment. Abraham's bosom is often interpreted as a depiction of limbo, highlighting a place where souls experience peace but await the fullness of redemption. Early Jewish and Christian beliefs about the afterlife were complex and evolved over time. In ancient Jewish thought, Sheol was perceived as a general place for all the dead, a shadowy underworld where both the righteous and the wicked resided. However, with the development of Pharisaic thought and later Christian theology, distinctions within Sheol began to emerge. This included the idea of a peaceful, albeit imperfect state for those who lived morally but were not part of the chosen people. The notion of limbo addressed theological concerns about the fate of righteous individuals who, due to their lack of baptism or knowledge of the true faith, could not enter heaven immediately. This included virtuous pagans who followed natural law and lived commendable lives. Theological debates among early Christian scholars, such as Augustine and Aquinas, further shaped the understanding of limbo, integrating it into the broader framework of eschatology. Thus, limbo represents a fascinating intersection of mercy and justice within the divine order. It underscores the belief that while salvation through Christ is paramount, there exists a recognition of goodness and virtue outside the explicit bounds of the faith. Circle 2. Lust. The second circle of Sheol is reserved for those who succumb to lust, representing the souls punished for carnal sins. In this circle, the sinful desires that drove individuals during their earthly lives are met with fitting retribution, reflecting the moral consequences of their actions. The Bible provides several references to the dangers and consequences of lust. Proverbs 6:32 states, "But a man who commits adultery has no sense. Whoever does so destroys himself." This verse underscores the destructive nature of carnal sins, highlighting the profound impact they can have on a person's spiritual well-being. Adultery, as a manifestation of unchecked lust, leads not only to moral and relational ruin, but also to severe spiritual repercussions. Ancient texts and hidden knowledge further elaborate on the moral implications of lust. The Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish text, provides detailed accounts of the consequences of lust and immorality. It describes the fallen angels, known as the Watchers, who succumbed to lust for human women, resulting in their downfall and the birth of the Nephilim, a race of giants. This narrative serves as a powerful allegory for the corrupting influence of lust and the severe judgments that follow such transgressions. The teachings of early Christian mystics also delve into the dangers of lust. For instance, the writings of the Desert Fathers, a group of early Christian hermits and monks, emphasize the importance of chastity and the spiritual battles against lustful thoughts and desires. These ascetics viewed lust as a primary obstacle to achieving spiritual purity and closeness to God. The second circle of Sheol, therefore, represents a realm where the consequences of carnal sins are fully realized. The souls in this circle face the torment that mirrors the intense and destructive nature of their earthly desires. This punishment serves as a stark reminder of the importance of moral discipline and the pursuit of virtue. The second circle's focus on lust highlights the profound spiritual consequences of giving in to carnal desires, urging us to reflect on the importance of purity and self-control in our own lives. Circle 3. Gluttony. The third circle of Sheol is designated for those who succumb to gluttony, representing souls who indulge excessively in food and drink. In this circle, the punishment reflects the overindulgence and lack of self-control exhibited by these individuals during their earthly lives. The Bible addresses the consequences of gluttony in various passages. Philippians 3:19 states, "Their destiny is destruction, their God is their stomach, and their glory is in their shame. Their mind is set on earthly things." This verse highlights the destructive nature of gluttony, illustrating how an overemphasis on earthly pleasures, particularly those related to food and drink, can lead to spiritual ruin. Forbidden scriptures and apocryphal writings also delve into the sins of the flesh, offering additional insights into the consequences of gluttony. One such text is the Apocalypse of Peter, an early Christian apocryphal work that provides vivid descriptions of the punishments awaiting the gluttonous. It depicts these souls suffering from an insatiable hunger and thirst, a fitting retribution for their earthly excesses. The concept of gluttony extends beyond mere overeating and overdrinking. It encompasses a broader lack of moderation and self-discipline. Ancient teachings often warned against the dangers of allowing physical desires to dominate one's life, emphasizing the need for balance and restraint. Early Christian ascetics, such as the Desert Fathers, frequently spoke about the spiritual dangers of gluttony. They advocated for fasting and other forms of self-denial as means to cultivate self-control and spiritual purity. These practices were seen as essential for overcoming the temptations of the flesh and achieving a closer connection to God. The third circle of Sheol, therefore, serves as a realm where the consequences of gluttony are fully realized. The souls here are tormented in ways that reflect their earthly indulgences, highlighting the importance of moderation and self-discipline in leading a virtuous life. This punishment serves as a stark reminder of the spiritual dangers associated with excessive indulgence and the need to prioritize spiritual well-being over physical pleasures. The third circle's focus on gluttony emphasizes the significance of maintaining balance and self-control in our lives, urging us to reflect on the spiritual consequences of our actions. Circle 4. Greed. The fourth circle of Sheol is dedicated to those who were consumed by greed, representing the souls of the avaricious and the prodigal. In this circle, the punishment reflects their insatiable desire for wealth and material possessions during their earthly lives. The Bible speaks clearly about the futility and dangers of wealth. Ecclesiastes 5:10 states, "Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income." This too is meaningless. This verse underscores the endless and ultimately unfulfilling pursuit of material riches, highlighting the spiritual emptiness that accompanies greed. Ancient teachings and historical context provide further insights into the consequences of materialism. In both Jewish and early Christian traditions, wealth was often viewed with suspicion, seen as a potential barrier to spiritual growth and a righteous life. The pursuit of material wealth was believed to lead individuals away from spiritual truths and towards a life dominated by earthly desires. The teachings of Jesus also strongly condemned greed. In the parable of the rich fool, Luke 12:16-21, Jesus tells of a man who hoards his wealth, only to die suddenly and realize the futility of his earthly riches. This story serves as a powerful warning about the transient nature of material possessions and the importance of focusing on spiritual wealth. The writings of the early church fathers, such as Clement of Alexandria and John Chrysostom, also address the dangers of greed. They emphasize that true wealth lies in spiritual virtues rather than in material accumulation. Their teachings encourage Christians to share their resources and to live lives of simplicity and generosity. The fourth circle of Sheol, therefore, punishes those who were dominated by greed and the relentless pursuit of wealth. The souls here are tormented by their unfulfilled desires, forever longing for the material riches they once coveted. This punishment serves as a stark reminder of the spiritual perils of greed and the ultimate emptiness of material wealth. The fourth circle's focus on greed highlights the importance of prioritizing spiritual wealth over material possessions, urging us to reflect on the true value of our earthly pursuits. Circle 5. Wrath. The fifth circle of Sheol is reserved for those who were dominated by wrath, encompassing both the angry and the sullen. In this realm, souls are tormented in ways that reflect the destructive nature of their uncontrolled anger and resentment during their earthly lives. The Bible provides clear warnings against the dangers of wrath. Ephesians 4:31 states, "Get rid of all bitterness, rage and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice." This verse emphasizes the need to purge oneself of anger and malice, recognizing the harmful impact these emotions can have on one's spiritual health and relationships. Hidden knowledge from early Christian mysticism delves deeper into the nature of anger and its spiritual consequences. The Desert Fathers, a group of early Christian hermits and monks, often spoke about the spiritual warfare involved in overcoming wrath. They viewed anger as a fundamental obstacle to achieving spiritual purity and a closer relationship with God. The teachings of Evagrius Ponticus, an influential Christian monk, provide valuable insights into the early Christian understanding of anger. Evagrius identified anger as one of the 8 deadly thoughts, or logismoi, that could lead a person away from spiritual enlightenment. He emphasized the importance of practicing patience and forgiveness as antidotes to anger. Furthermore, the writings of John Cassian, another early Christian theologian, highlight the importance of controlling one's temper and cultivating inner peace. Cassian taught that unchecked anger could lead to spiritual blindness, preventing individuals from experiencing the fullness of God's grace and mercy. The fifth circle of Sheol, therefore, serves as a realm where the consequences of wrath are fully realized. The souls here are tormented by their own anger and resentment, reflecting the inner turmoil they carried during their earthly lives. This punishment underscores the importance of mastering one's emotions and practicing forgiveness and patience. The fifth circle's focus on wrath highlights the significance of emotional control and the spiritual dangers of harboring anger, urging us to reflect on the importance of cultivating inner peace and forgiveness in our own lives. Circle 6. Heresy. The sixth circle of Sheol is reserved for those guilty of heresy, where souls are punished for denying or distorting religious truths. In this realm, the torment reflects the consequences of leading others astray and corrupting the purity of the faith. The Bible addresses the dangers of heresy in several passages. One of the clearest warnings comes from 2 Peter 2:1, which states, "But there were also false prophets among the people, just as there will be false teachers among you. They will secretly introduce destructive heresies, even denying the sovereign Lord who bought them, bringing swift destruction on themselves." This verse highlights the grave danger posed by false teachings and the severe consequences awaiting those who propagate them. Historically, heresy has played a significant role in shaping early Christian doctrine. The early church faced numerous challenges from various heretical movements that sought to reinterpret or undermine core Christian beliefs. These challenges forced the early church to clarify and solidify its doctrines, leading to the development of creeds and councils that defined orthodoxy. One notable example of the impact of heresy is the Arian controversy in the 4th century. Arius, a priest from Alexandria, argued that Jesus Christ was not co-eternal with God the Father, thus challenging the doctrine of the Trinity. This heresy sparked significant theological debate and led to the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, where the Nicene Creed was established to affirm the orthodox belief in the Trinity. The writings of early church fathers such as Irenaeus, Tertullian, and Augustine were instrumental in combating heresies and defending the true faith. Irenaeus's work against heresies systematically refuted the Gnostic heresies of his time, emphasizing the importance of apostolic tradition and the continuity of the true faith. Tertullian and Augustine further contributed to the development of Christian doctrine by addressing various heretical teachings and articulating the core beliefs of Christianity. Their works helped to preserve the integrity of the faith and provided a foundation for future theological development. The sixth circle of Sheol, therefore, serves as a realm where the consequences of heresy are fully realized. The souls here are tormented by the distortions and falsehoods they spread, reflecting the spiritual damage they caused during their earthly lives. This punishment serves as a stark reminder of the importance of preserving and defending religious truths. The six circles' focus on heresy highlights the significance of maintaining doctrinal purity and the spiritual dangers of distorting religious truths, urging us to reflect on the importance of upholding and defending the faith in our own lives. Circle 7. Violence. The seventh circle of Sheol is dedicated to those who committed acts of violence, encompassing both physical and moral forms of violence. In this realm, the torments reflect the brutality and harm inflicted by these individuals during their earthly lives. The Bible provides a vivid depiction of the consequences of widespread violence in Genesis 6:11-13. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight and was full of violence. God saw how corrupt the earth had become, for all the people on earth had corrupted their ways. So God said to Noah, I am going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I am surely going to destroy both them and the earth. This passage describes the state of humanity before the Great Flood, highlighting how rampant violence led to divine judgment in the catastrophic flood. Violence in biblical terms is not limited to physical harm, but also includes moral and spiritual violence. This can manifest in actions that harm others emotionally, psychologically, or spiritually. The scriptures emphasize the importance of peace, justice, and compassion, condemning acts of violence as antithetical to divine will. Esoteric interpretations of violence, found in various hidden and forbidden texts, delve deeper into its spiritual repercussions. For instance, in certain mystical traditions, violence is seen as a disruption of cosmic harmony and an affront to the divine order. These texts suggest that acts of violence create spiritual wounds that reverberate beyond the physical realm, affecting the perpetrator's soul and the broader spiritual fabric. The Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish text, offers additional insights into the spiritual consequences of violence. It describes how the fallen angels, who taught humanity the art of warfare and bloodshed, were severely punished for introducing such destructive knowledge. This narrative underscores the belief that violence corrupts both the individual and the collective soul of humanity, leading to severe divine retribution. The seventh circle of Sheol, therefore, serves as a realm where the consequences of violence are fully realized. The souls here are tormented by the echoes of their violent acts, reflecting the pain and suffering they caused. This punishment serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of peace, compassion, and the pursuit of justice. The seventh circle's focus on violence highlights the spiritual dangers of harming others, urging us to reflect on the importance of living in harmony with others and the divine order. Circle 8. Fraud. The eighth circle of Sheol is reserved for those guilty of fraud, encompassing deceivers and hypocrites. In this realm, the souls are tormented for their deceitful actions and the hypocrisy that marked their earthly lives. The Bible condemns deceit and fraud in several passages. One of the most direct is found in Proverbs 11:1, which states, "The Lord detests dishonest scales, but accurate weights find favor with him." This verse highlights the divine disdain for dishonesty and fraud, emphasizing the moral imperative for truthfulness and integrity in all dealings. Hidden knowledge from ancient wisdom literature provides further insights into the nature of truth and lies. The book of Proverbs, along with other wisdom texts, often contrasts the righteous, who live by truth, with the wicked, who are ensnared by their own deceit. For example, Proverbs 12:22 states, "The Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in people who are trustworthy." This emphasizes the virtue of honesty and the spiritual peril of falsehood. Ancient teachings also explored the deeper spiritual consequences of deceit. The writings of early Christian mystics and philosophers often warn that deceit not only harms others, but also corrupts the soul of the deceiver. Hypocrisy, in particular, was seen as a grave sin because it involves a deliberate distortion of one's true self and intentions, creating a facade that leads others astray. The writings of the Desert Fathers, for instance, frequently address the importance of living an authentic life in alignment with one's spiritual beliefs. They warn that hypocrisy creates a division within the self, leading to spiritual disintegration. The teachings of John Climacus, in his work The Ladder of Divine Ascent, emphasize that deceit and hypocrisy are significant obstacles to spiritual ascent and union with God. The eighth circle of Sheol, therefore, serves as a realm where the consequences of fraud and hypocrisy are fully realized. The souls here are tormented by their own deceitful actions, reflecting the harm they caused and the spiritual corruption they embraced. This punishment underscores the importance of honesty, integrity, and authenticity in one's spiritual and moral life. The eighth circle's focus on fraud highlights the spiritual dangers of deceit and hypocrisy, urging us to reflect on the importance of truthfulness and living a life of genuine integrity. Circle 9. Treachery. The ninth and deepest circle of Sheol is reserved for those guilty of treachery, encompassing traitors and betrayers. In this realm, the punishment reflects the profound betrayal and the severe consequences of their actions during their earthly lives. The Bible offers a poignant example of treachery in the story of Judas Iscariot, the disciple who betrayed Jesus. In Matthew 26:24, Jesus says, "The Son of Man will go just as it is written about him. But woe to that man who betrays the Son of Man. It would be better for him if he had not been born." This verse highlights the severe condemnation and the dire fate that awaits Judas for his act of betrayal. Treachery is considered one of the gravest sins because it involves a breach of trust and loyalty, often resulting in significant harm to others. In biblical history, several notable examples illustrate the devastating impact of treachery. One such example is the betrayal of King David by his advisor, Ahithophel, who conspired with David's son Absalom to overthrow him. This act of treachery is recorded in 2 Samuel 15-17 and highlights the profound personal and political consequences of betrayal. Another example is the story of Delilah's betrayal of Samson in Judges 16. Delilah's deceitful actions lead to Samson's capture and eventual death, underscoring the destructive power of treachery. These stories illustrate how betrayal not only harms the immediate victim, but also has far-reaching implications for the betrayer and their community. Historical context further enriches our understanding of treachery's significance. In ancient times, acts of betrayal were often seen as the ultimate breach of social and moral order. The repercussions were severe, both in terms of personal retribution and divine punishment. Betrayal was believed to disrupt the natural and divine order, warranting the harshest of consequences. The ninth circle of Sheol, therefore, serves as a realm where the consequences of treachery are fully realized. The souls here are tormented by the weight of their betrayal, reflecting the deep harm they caused to others and the breach of trust they committed. This punishment serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of loyalty, trust, and integrity. The ninth circle's focus on treachery highlights the severe spiritual and moral repercussions of betrayal, urging us to reflect on the importance of maintaining trust and loyalty in our relationships and lives. Conclusion. As we conclude our journey through the 9 circles of Sheol, we've uncovered the profound depths of ancient beliefs about sin, morality, and divine justice. Each circle, from Limbo, where unbaptized souls and virtuous pagans reside, to Treachery, the deepest circle reserved for traitors and betrayers, offers a unique perspective on the spiritual consequences of human actions. Understanding these realms through both biblical and hidden knowledge provides us with a richer and more nuanced view of the afterlife. The scriptures offer clear warnings and teachings about the dangers of various sins, while ancient and forbidden texts provide additional layers of interpretation that deepen our comprehension of these concepts. The importance of exploring forbidden scriptures and historical texts cannot be overstated. These writings, often excluded from mainstream religious teachings, contain valuable insights into the spiritual and moral beliefs of ancient cultures. By delving into these sources, we gain a more comprehensive understanding of the moral and spiritual frameworks that shaped early religious thought. This exploration invites us to reflect on our own lives, urging us to cultivate virtues and avoid the pitfalls of sin. It encourages us to consider the eternal consequences of our actions and to strive for a life of integrity, compassion, and spiritual growth. We reflect on the profound depths of ancient beliefs about sin, morality, and divine justice. Each circle represents a distinct realm where souls are punished according to their earthly transgressions, from the relatively mild torments of Limbo to the severe and harrowing punishments of Treachery. Our exploration has taken us from the abode of unbaptized souls and virtuous pagans in Limbo, through the realms of lust, gluttony, greed, wrath, heresy, violence, and fraud, culminating in the deepest circle reserved for traitors and betrayers. This exploration underscores the importance of understanding these realms through both biblical texts and hidden knowledge. The scriptures provide a foundational framework, while apocryphal writings in ancient wisdom literature offer additional insights that deepen our comprehension of these complex and multifaceted concepts. By delving into forbidden scriptures and historical texts, we uncover layers of interpretation that enrich our understanding of Sheol and its circles. These sources reveal the spiritual and moral teachings that have shaped human beliefs about the afterlife and divine justice for millennia. We encourage you to continue this journey of exploration, dive deeper into the ancient texts, and seek out the hidden knowledge that illuminates the path to understanding Sheol. Through this, we gain not only a greater comprehension of these mystical realms, but also profound insights into the timeless truths about human nature, morality, and our ultimate destiny. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the 9 circles of Sheol. We hope this journey has been enlightening and has inspired you to seek further knowledge and understanding.